Hi friends, welcome back to Homeschool-ology. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4. I've got a 7th grader, a 3rd grader, and then a 5 and 3-year-old who are doing like a pre-K, kinder combined level together. And on this channel, I like to talk to you guys about secular homeschooling, motherhood, having a large family, traveling with a large family, and everything in between. Today's video, I'll be sharing our early homeschool years, and this is a collaboration hosted by the wonderful Shanna over at Making Everyday Magic. If you don't follow her channel, she is wonderful. She has lots of great information and her energy is infectious, so I'll be linking her channel down below, as well as the link to the playlist where Shanna, myself, and a bunch of other moms will be sharing our early days as homeschoolers. So not why we chose to homeschool, but like those very first years of homeschooling. What did they look like for us? How did they go? This video is all about our early homeschool days. So these were our first few years of homeschooling is kind of what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. And back then I only had one homeschooler, my oldest, who she's 7th grade now, but back then she was just a little old 5-year-old when we were starting out. And my middle daughter was she would have been like 1.5-ish, so they are 4 years apart. So when I first started out, I only had one student and a toddler running around, and that was the first like 3 years of our homeschooling because my daughters are 4 years apart. But during those 3 years, I did have my son as well because he's 5 now. So we had a lot of transition and a lot of change, but when we very first started homeschooling, of course I did all the research and all the things trying to figure out what was going to work best for us, and I am a secondary education, I have a degree in secondary education, so I was trying to kind of follow that and kind of imagine what homeschool would be like. And it was very, I set up a little spot for her for the first day and had all the workbooks and all the things we were going to do, and I was so prepared. We had chosen to do all about reading and handwriting without tears, and what else were we using? We were using Matthew C. For her first year, and I started off using 5 in a row. 5 in a row is not secular, but it can be adapted that way. But that was before I kind of knew the difference between secular and not secular and what to look for when purchasing that curriculum. So we were doing a little bit of 5 in a row as well. And then I was confident that I was going to come up with my own science curriculum and all of that. So that's what we started out with. And the first few months went pretty well. She did okay. She loved math. She wanted to do math all the time. We started with math every single day. It was her favorite thing. She loved watching the videos. She loved playing with the blocks. She loved learning math. Everything was great for math. And then she really did not enjoy all about reading, like not even a little bit. She was okay with handwriting without tears. She wouldn't fight me too bad on that, but and we started keyboarding, and I don't know what I was thinking starting keyboarding with a 5-year-old, but handwriting without tears has a keyboarding program, and there's nothing wrong with the program, but we just started way too early. Her hands were barely even big enough to fit on the keyboard, so that didn't really go all that successfully. Handwriting without tears went okay. We did finish that book in that first year, but all about reading went not well at all. It just wasn't for her. She loved the Ziggy games. I have a video all about our experience with All About Reading, and she loved the Ziggy games, and we would do those. But when it came to like actually the reading part, she hated it. It was a nightmare trying to get through that, in all honesty. She just, we got to a point where lessons were ending, every lesson, every day was ending, and not only her in tears, but me in tears as well. And so it took a long time for me to just say, you know what, this is not working and we're not going to do it anymore. But when I finally said, you know what, we're taking a break, I can't be ending every day in tears for both of us. You know, it couldn't happen. So I learned that lesson the hard way, to not keep doing something because that's what we should be doing. You know, that's what she should have been doing. You know what? We stopped that All About Reading. It was about like Thanksgiving time, I think. And we took a break from school, and I just never picked up All About Reading when we came back. And she was fighting me. She didn't want to learn to read. She wasn't reading. She hated it, everything about it. And then she was playing a video game, and it had, you know, like, had things that you had to read to be able to play it. And all of a sudden, she was reading, just like out of nowhere, because she had the desire to now. She got tired. She literally told me she got tired of coming and asking me what it said. And so she learned to read because it was important to her. And really, honestly, with very little instruction from me at all. So I learned that lesson really early on with her, that if it's not working, it's not working. Like, just move on. Just try something new, or just take a break entirely and then come back at it with fresh, you know, eyes and fresh feelings, or try something new. And that was a lesson that I learned, probably my biggest lesson. I think that's the one that I say the most, is like, that's the biggest lesson I learned, is to really take your cues from your child. If it's not working, it's not working, and it's not going to work no matter how hard you try. Trying is just going to make it worse most of the time. So, but once we got that figured out, we tried Logic of English after that, and it went much better for a couple of years, and then that stopped working too, and we've gone on to new things, and I have lots of videos about all of that, so if you want to go down to my my playlist, you can check out all those. But that was kind of it. And then I had a toddler running around, and so I had to learn ways to keep her busy while I was working with older sister, or we would do, she luckily was my best napper, and so a lot of times we would do school when she went down for her nap. And that was kind of how it went. The toddler went down for her nap, and we would do school, and it really, I think the one thing I did right starting out was that I didn't try to overload us. I tried, I was like, we need to start small. We need to start with the basics, and then we'll just build from there. And I think that was a real win. That really helped us, I think, because we weren't trying to do everything all at once. And now I am in that phase of where I try to do everything all at once and it doesn't go well, and I'm trying to learn how to balance that, But I really think starting small in the beginning, starting with just the basics in the beginning, was the way to go. And that was really successful for us. So that was a win. Another thing that I tried to do when we first started homeschooling was like get up and do homeschool first thing, like on her first day. If I can find the pictures, I'll put them up here. On our first day, I had Daddy go get her donuts and had a whole thing set up and everything laid out so that when she came down, we went and we took our first day of school picture on the front porch, and we came in and we got straight to work. And I tried doing that. We tried doing that when we, we first got up and we first did work, because that's what all of the people said to do. All of the bloggers that, there wasn't a very big YouTube community back in that day, but all of the blogs that I read and all of the stuff I found online was like, get up, get your breakfast, do your schoolwork, do your chores, do all those things. And so I tried following that path, and that just didn't work for us. Like, my daughter nor I are morning people. We're just not. That's not when we function at our best. And so that was not working. And then we started to do some things out of the house, meet up with some, go to library time and meet up with some people. And that all tended to happen in the morning. And so it just worked out that we just did our school in the afternoon when we got home from all of that. And we just kind of naturally fell into that pattern, and we still do that today. We do our school after lunch. Lunch is our cue that school time is coming. So that was something that we did in the beginning that just didn't work, and we changed and adjusted. Let's see, what else could I tell you about our early days? I did tell you about trying to entertain my toddler. That's when I learned about busy bags and like sensory bins. That back in that day, that was like a really big thing all over Pinterest. And so I started setting those things up for her that she could work on. Or the most successful for us was doing it during her nap time, or like when she like first woke up and was nursing and things, because we could sit on the couch and I could read while she was nursing. A lot of books back in that day, just a lot of reading and playing together. And like I said, she loved math. She wanted to do math. We would do math forever because she just wanted to do more and more and more, which was really sweet. I wish that had lasted a little bit longer. She still enjoys math, but she's not all about it anymore. And you know, it's harder now. But that's about it. Those early years, we learned a lot of lessons. We learned a lot of what worked and a lot of what didn't work, and it's just a lot of trial and error. I guess my best advice would be, the number one thing that I learned, start small and add on. You know, start with the basics and add on as you go. You don't have to try to do it all at one time, especially if you're brand new to this. Like if you're doing the 3 R's, then you're doing enough. And then you can start adding in the fun things as you know, get more comfortable with your routines. Establishing a routine is important. I've shared that many times before, and that is something that you definitely need to do, but don't be afraid to like let that form naturally. It's okay to let those natural patterns form, but once you find that natural pattern, try to stick to that natural pattern. So another piece of advice I would give, it would be to find curriculum, you know, spend your time, do your research, find curriculum, but if it doesn't work, don't be afraid to let it go. I mean, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but we tried All About Spelling or All About Reading. Everybody loves it. Everybody in the whole internet verse loves it, and it just doesn't work for us, and that's okay. Like, it's still a sound program, it just doesn't work for us, and it took me a while to realize that it was okay to let that go. You know, like, yes, I invested money in it, but I can resell that on Facebook Marketplace. It's still going to hold its value pretty decently, and you know, it doesn't work, so let's try something new. So those early years, they were really fun. They were we were all excited in the beginning. You know, some of that excitement has worn off, you know, even though we get a little bit of a taste of that each start of a new school year when we have new things to look forward to. But yeah, we had a pretty good early years. We had trials that we had to work through, but we made it. And my daughter tells me now that she doesn't ever want to do anything but homeschool. And so I hope her enthusiasm and her enjoyment of homeschool lasts through that. And yeah, as we add more kids, things change, things get different, but I will remember those early days well, and treasure them always. And so if you guys have any questions about our early days, I would be happy to answer them down below, or if there's enough of them, make another video for you guys. Again, and thank you to Shanna at Making Everyday Magic for hosting this collab. It was a lot of fun to kind of go down memory lane, so thank you to her. Don't forget to check out her channel. I'm linking down below, and the playlist where her, myself, and a bunch of other moms will be sharing our early years with you guys. And don't forget, you can head on over to Instagram at Homeschool-ology and check us out over there. I know I haven't been around over there very much lately. Life has gotten in the way. I have a life update coming later. I'm actually filming that next, so there's a life update coming for you to tell you about all the craziness that has been going on. But I will be back. I will be back there soon, and I will be back here soon. Thank you again to all the great moms. I can't wait to watch these videos. I hope you will come back and chat with me again soon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you would. I would really appreciate it, and give this video a thumbs up so we know that you guys are liking these kinds of videos. And I will talk to you guys again real soon. Bye. And don't try to do more than that in the very beginning. I'm just rambling. I'm totally rambling at this point.